And what's going on, people? We are live. How y'all doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Merry Christmas Eve, right? I'm here. I'm streaming with you guys. Today was a wonderful day. I watched a lot of football. I'm real happy NFL moved all the games to Christmas Eve, man, to put it on Saturday. Honestly, I felt like it was a really good show. We had a bunch of great games today. A lot to tackle, a lot to talk about, a lot, to cover. Um, but I just came here to just kind of give my piece. I know I can be a little bit inconsistent with football, um, but hey, man, I try to dish them out as much as I can. But like and subscribe though, because uh, the more support I get, the more the better this gets, and then I'll have the opportunity to kind of stick to this a little bit more. I know that sounds like a shitty deal because I should already be consistent for you guys to like and subscribe, but trust me, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I love doing this. I love talking about sports. We're gonna, I plan on expanding this into deeper things. I do have a project coming up that I am going to reveal to you guys in the near future. I have a Discord up. It's just not efficient, so I'm trying to get that underway also. And finally, just trying to focus on some promotional things that pertains to the channel, because I want this to get out there as much as possible, because I don't want to just talk about sports. I'm also I stay in shape. I talk about a multitude of other things that's outside the realm of sports, with I would say, with a reasonable perspective, kind of unbiased. I try to approach the world as I do with my sports, but I do the best I can. Feel me? So I'm not gonna give you the long spiel, like and subscribe. I'll probably say that at the end of the video. Hopefully, you guys make it to the end of the video. But if you guys are here, you're watching. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about today, man. Let's talk about Week 16 of the NFL season, and boy, was it exciting, right? And I'm not gonna hold you. Let me just dish out the pain while I can get to it. But yes, my Giants lost. We lost to the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson did his thing today. Actually, let me bring this up, man. Bring this up because I don't even want to keep talking about this without you guys, seeing what I'm talking about. At least something that pertains to it. And also, let me drop that link in the comment section so you guys can tap in. Also, excuse me. There we go. But you guys are probably enjoying the night out, or you guys are probably sitting at home with your families. But this video is always out there for you guys to watch later on. But I would enjoy, if people tap in, we could talk. But trust me, I'm not sitting here and expecting anybody to tap, to move away from their families to talk about football. And I do believe there is a game right now, which is the Steelers versus the Raiders. So I can try to give you guys an update as much as possible when it comes to that. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. So I know that Justin Jefferson broke the record. I believe he broke Randy Moss's record in a single season franchise. Now we all know, we all know what type of player Randy Moss was coming into football, or first being introduced to football. I was a huge fan of Randy Moss, huge fan. The first time I probably seen him play, I don't think I got to see him play on the Vikings, but I did see him play on the Raiders and then get switched to the New England Patriots. But despite all that, man, Justin Jefferson right here. So I got it right here for you. Right here for you. Let me pull this up. Don't stop till you get enough. Yahoo Sports. Mute this too. I don't know unnecessary bullshit. So Justin Jefferson was well aware when he passed Randy Moss for the Minnesota Vikings single season receiving record. He passed Moss with a catch in the first quarter near the Vikings sideline and made sure someone got the record-setting ball to save him. That's understandable. Anytime you pass a legend like Moss or any record, it's special. Now, so I want to bring up the numbers to be precise. And they did say that Justin Jefferson is on track to break Calvin Johnson's single season receiving record, right? We know that Cooper Kupp was pretty damn near close to breaking it, but I think Justin Jefferson has a real legit case to beat this record this year, and then we can pull it up. Actually, let me move this out the way too, so you guys, for viewers' pleasure. I got to get this encoding up, man. Once I get OBS and this shit up and running, I'm telling you, stay tuned. Watch, and then I'm also have my Twitch on there too, so you guys can tap in on my Twitch, so I can still talk about the same things that I'm talking about, and I could play it. I could be a lazy fuck and play video games while I'm doing it, right? So, hey, 2 for 2. So let me get a little bit more specific as it pertains to why I said Justin Jefferson could break Calvin Johnson's record. And we're going to take a look at it right here. So the record is 1,900. Trying to zoom in a little bit. So the record is 1,964 yards, which he set in 2012. And Justin Jefferson came into the game with 1,623 yards and has a good shot. So, of course, Justin Jefferson has an extra game to get in there and maybe to 2,000. Johnson set the record for the Detroit Lions in 16 games, and Jefferson will get 17 health permitting. It won't take that much away from the moment if Jefferson gets there. For sure. Nah, he was killing us. Let me see. There's definitely more that I can probably expand upon. Jefferson was close to Johnson's pace through 14 games. Jefferson had 1,623 yards. Johnson had 1,667 through 14 games. His record-setting season. Johnson went for 225 yards in the 15th game. The way the Vikings use Jefferson, he has a shot at a game like that down the stretch too. Jefferson is already on pace for some great numbers. Moss was one of the all-time greats and made the Hall of Fame, right? So if I'm not mistaken, I know that Justin Jefferson did break Odell Beckham Jr.'s record for the most receiving yards in the beginning of the season. Now let's go to the teams, because I just want to talk about one player. I know we were talking about the Vikings. We were kind of talking about the Vikings, right? But they clinched their division spot by having a win over my New York Giants. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers are in that division. Lions just lost today against I can't remember the team. Somebody put it in the comment section. I forgot. I just know that the Lions lost to the God damn, man. I hate when I forget what teams they go against. Makes me feel like a piece of shit. Who did they go against? Panthers. Yes, they lost. They got their ass kicked by the Panthers. There it goes. So they had an unexpected loss for to the Panthers, and it was a away game, of course. So Panthers are still kicking. They're 6-9. They have a chance to run. They have a chance to run for the division. Clearly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be playing tomorrow against the Arizona Cardinals, right? So basically, the Vikings, they're in playoff mode. Justin Jefferson, the biggest thing that they really need to take away from here when it comes to the regular season down the stretch is really just Justin Jefferson record. My Saints trash. How did they do though? I know that but y'all beat the Browns though. I mean, yeah, give or take, they are one of the bottom of the barrel teams this year, but I mean, Drew Brees, had a retirement, Sean Payton left. So you really kind of lost your culture in one big swoop, but I think that dub against the Cleveland Browns, thank you, because I did need to switch the subject though and talk about something else, but I know I was kind of going on a spiel with the Minnesota Vikings, but that kicked out the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns are officially out of playoff contention, right? They're no longer able to make the playoffs, and what a season the freaking Cleveland Browns had, man. Like, you had Deshaun Watson situation. They signed him to a fully guaranteed contract, even though Nick Chubb for the better part of the year was playing extremely well. But just something happened with this team, with the Cleveland Browns. It's just they weren't the same team that they started off with. I believe Jacoby Brissett, all right, the starter for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he started off decent enough. Obviously, he wasn't the guy, for the long run. But Deshaun Watson, man, after the season that he's had this year, You could just probably nip this one in the bud, especially with the Browns, man, to give that man all that money. Not to say that Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve, well, I wouldn't have paid him that much. But to be honest, I'm always a fan of brothers getting their money, man. So if they can get it, they can get it. But we already know the stimulations that come with the NFL and contracts and things of that nature. So, hey, Cleveland Brown, they're all in on Deshaun Watson. Bottom line there, right? But they clearly not making the playoffs. This is the second straight season. They were kind of projected to go to the playoffs, and now they haven't made the playoffs in 2 years in a row. So we could probably predict some changes coming in the near future. We're gonna see, but one thing's for sure: they got to have another shot with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, right? But yeah, man, what's good? But your Saints play. The thing about the Saints, though, Scott, they have, for the past couple years, they had a really, really good defense, man. And it's like the weird thing about it is crazy how Drew Brees finally gets a great defense in the end of his career. Like throughout his whole career, Drew Brees never had a good defense. But then those years when, obviously they got robbed in that one playoff game against the Rams. And then there was that game against the Vikings. There might have been another game that, that probably where y'all got tossed up. But those were the years when y'all defense was really blooming. I felt like your defense was better in the last 3 years than the year than you guys won the Super Bowl. Right? But, they just need to find some answers with this quarterback situation. We thought Jameis Winston was going to come in, do his thing, because it looked like he had gotten better from the previous season. He wasn't really turning the ball over like he used to, but he lost his job while he was hurt. And then Andy Dalton came, was listed as a starter and played like poop. I'm not going to lie. He said we poop now. I mean, but nah, for sure, bro. You're not a good team. But I feel like you guys have the personnel to make do. Like if you guys, come on, bro. Andy Dalton threw for 92 yards today. He had a QBR of 44. A QBR of 44. This man is cheeks, his booty cheeks. Right? We already know what Andy Dalton is made of. Come on now. If that was the case, he would have been the starting quarterback for the Bengals. But we know how that goes, right? So yeah, man. If you have Andy Dalton as your quarterback, there is no future. There is no future with your franchise if you he's the I'll be honest. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield as a starting quarterback. Coaching bad. I can't take away too much from y'all games. I don't watch too much of y'all games to kind of have that analogy. But I don't believe it though. This is his first year, right? This is his first year as a head coach. And it's crazy. I saw another thing too with Sean Payton. Apparently, he's gathering up a dream team of coaches and is planning on coaching next year. So, and then there's been some rumors circulating around that if the Cowboys have another first round exit, hey, Mike McCarthy, he might be done data, and Sean McPayton might come in with the fell swoop, take that team to a chip. Hopefully not. I can't live in no world as a Giants fan with the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. I pray to God that doesn't happen in my presence. Jesus Christ, that would be horrible. Another thing too. Let's tap into another thing. So the Raiders right now, let me give you guys a little update. So the Raiders are playing against the Steelers. They're up 10-3 on the Steelers, and it's the beginning of the third quarter. I had to give you guys a little update on the stats. Derek Carr completed 9 for 17 passes for 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 8 rushes, 29 yards, no touchdowns. And Hunter Renfrow has 1 reception for 14 yards and 1 touchdown. And then and Kenny Pickett is also starting for the Steelers because we know he was out last week, right? Baltimore Ravens They beat the Atlanta Falcons, so they're out of playoff contention. Not that any one of us thought they were going to the playoffs. But let's talk about the Ravens, though, man. It's crazy how they're able to pull. They're able to pull through with some wins, and Lamar Jackson isn't even playing. It's funny how, we bring up this notion where how Ravens heavily rely on Lamar Jackson. So they got to pay him, which I'm not really making the argument. My only argument with Lamar Jackson is him getting that, that fully guaranteed contract. Like I said, I'm behind players getting paid, but it's really unprecedented aside from the Deshaun Watson situation. And then come on, like, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns here. When have they ever made a great decision when it comes to picking quarterback? I've never ever witnessed a situation where the Cleveland Browns made a great decision with their quarterback. That wasn't the case with Baker Mayfield because his ass is out of there, right? And it's looking like the situation with Deshaun Watson is he's going to look even worse, right? Considering everything that had followed up until this point. But at the end of the day, man, I still wish for the best. But I simply just don't think, Lamar Jackson is going to get that fully guaranteed contract. But I think he's still going to head into this playoff, still going to want to play because, come on now, you only get those opportunities don't really come that often, especially with how tough that division is. Coaching is bad. You think they're going to pay him? I don't think they give him the fully guaranteed. I think what matters is making sure that he's guaranteed more money than certain quarterbacks, right? So they're going to pay him. I think they're willing to pay him. It's not like the Ravens, are looking at Lamar Jackson and they're like, nah, we got to put you on a franchise tag, bro. We're not sure about you. Like they're fully invested into Lamar Jackson. They switched up their whole offense around this dude. They fully invested into this cat. They get tight ends. They don't really invest into their wide receivers. I believe, the Ravens haven't even had like a Pro Bowl wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I may or may not be wrong, but I remember seeing something like that. So, yeah, but I think the key factor here is, just making sure that he gets more guaranteed money. Example, more than Kyler Murray. I do believe he needs to get paid more than Kyler Murray. Actually, let me see. Let me look up some quarterbacks. Dak Prescott. I definitely feel like he should get more than Dak Prescott. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, and especially Ryan freaking Tannehill, and just a plethora of guys, just a couple. Those are just the guys I can think of at the top of my head that I feel like Lamar Jackson deserves to get paid more. Is the only situation? The only reason why this is a problem with Lamar Jackson is because he wants the same type of money that Deshaun Watson has, and even, the Ravens even came out and said that was a bonehead decision. He said that was a bonehead decision by the Cleveland Browns because it was so unprecedented. Nobody had ever done it before, and so Lamar Jackson being the player who represents himself, by the way, right? Lamar Jackson represents himself when it comes to making deals and contracts alongside of his mother. So I think that's a very, very sensitive situation because, in the rooms, when you're talking deals, you're talking contract, you're talking millions of dollars, hey, they might tell it as it is, and they might tell him, hey, bro, you threw how many picks in this game? You got hurt in this game? Get the F out of here, man. You ain't getting guaranteed shit. But nah, man, they should pay him. Bottom line, they should pay him. The argument on Lamar Jackson's side is the fact that he just wants fully guaranteed money, and Ravens clearly do not want to give that to him. Especially, what would that do to the roster? Just because you heavily invest in Lamar Jackson on the offensive side of the ball doesn't mean, you still got to factor in a bunch of other things. All right. So let's take another things here. Let me scroll this down a little bit though. Let me go back to the Athletic. So more takeaways, right? So the Cowboys and Eagles, obviously, come on, man. I should have freaking started off with that. Cowboys and Eagles was a lit ass game. I wish I could show you guys my fantasy. I mean, I could, but I'll show you guys after it's done because I'm waiting for this game tomorrow. Tampa Bay and Arizona Cardinals. So I'm the fourth seed in my playoff standings. Right? This bozo, right? He's 10-2. Thought he had a clean sweep. He thought he was gonna win the league. I'm the fourth seed in the playoffs. I'm about to beat his ass. I'm gonna upload it. I'm gonna upload it for you guys tomorrow after I win. But that game with the Cowboys and the Eagles, it was for sure like it was a for sure game of the week, right? Dak Prescott. I mean, the defense, the Cowboys defense certainly showed up. I believe they had like 4 turnovers. With the Eagles, they had interceptions. They fumbled the ball a couple of times. Some bad turnovers on the Eagles side of things. But you know what? We do have to factor in that Jalen Hurts didn't play today. And I'm thinking, the Eagles are thinking more in the long run. We need Arizona to win. Why is that? Why you need Arizona to win? Oh, because Saints. Oh, yeah, because y'all in the same conference. Saints and the Bucks. Yeah. So you do need Arizona. You do need Arizona to win. Good luck. I have to be honest with you. I'm going full Brady on this one. I got Rashad White and Chris Godwin on my fantasy, right? Along with Austin Eckler. So I have those 4 players left that I got to play. And I'm only 20 points down. He only needs like two more players, and one of them is a defense. So let me see. I know I kind of got off track, but yeah, let's talk about this game though too. Oh no, I'm switching it up. My fault. My brain is on a loop here. So this Cowboys and Eagles game, man, it was definitely exciting. I wish Jalen Hurts would have played because then we would have seen the full extent of what this matchup was really going to look like. And they were definitely putting some pressure on Gardner Minshew. I felt like if Jalen Hurts was playing this game, certain situations definitely would have gone down differently because we know that Jalen Hurts is a way more powerful quarterback than Gardner Minshew. I wouldn't say that he's more accurate, but he's certainly playing well or playing better than Gardner Minshew. And also he can make plays with his legs because he has a really strong lower body. Pause, right? Not in that way. But despite the fact, at the end of the day, what really killed the Eagles was some turnovers. If those turnovers weren't so abrupt, if they didn't happen the way they did, come on, the Eagles could have made some things happen. Devontae Smith had a great game. I think AJ Brown made some. AJ Brown did make some outstanding plays. Miles Sanders, obviously, he had that fumble in that game. Let me chalk this up because the score was 40-34. Gardner Minshew had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but still he threw for 355 yards, right? But he had those 2 interceptions and then 2 fumbles and then lost 1, right? And then Miles Sanders had 1 fumble and lost 1. So yeah, man, it was really just those turnovers. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, they both had decent games. Devontae Smith had an outstanding game. There was a catch. I don't remember particularly when and where. When he got up, Gardner Minshew was going down the field and he threw it up at Devontae Smith. This is towards the end of the game, and Devontae Smith got up, mossing people out there. But despite that, the Cowboys were able to find the stride every time they got they were able to key off on those turnovers. Dak Prescott also had a really great day, despite throwing just that 1 interception. But he completed 27 for 35 passes, 347 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. You had Ezekiel Elliott give a touchdown on the ground. Tony Pollard didn't necessarily have a great day, the days that he would usually have. He only averaged 2.1 yards per carry, but CeeDee Lamb had 10 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns, came up huge. Tony Pollard had 6 receptions, 61 yards receiving. T.Y. Hilton had that bomb right? In the second half, that 52-yard bomb. And then Michael Gallup also had that touchdown with also 4 receptions and 36 yards, right? So it was really a game going back and forth. And then, Cowboys, whenever they didn't score every time on each turnover, but they were able to still, kick some field goals and manage to keep the lead, right? And then really it was the Cowboys defense that came up big, right? Because Micah Parsons was was putting pressure on Gardner Minshew. I don't think he had a sack in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Did he? Let me see if any players had any sacks. No, no. So there were actually no sacks on the Cowboys end, which is actually pretty surprising when you think about it. But if I look at the Eagles, right? The Eagles had, how many times they sacked them? Yeah, they sacked him 6 times. Yeah. So the Eagles sacked Dak Prescott 6 times in that game and still managed to win. That's some Joe Burrow-ish, man. So let's talk about that since we're switching it up. Joe Burr, right? And I'm not gonna avoid it too, because I know I brought it up in the beginning, but I kind of glossed over it. That bullshit ass 61-yard field goal. I got to be careful with my language though, because I am twitching on stream. I am streaming on Twitch, so I got to be careful with my language now. I don't want to start over and recreate an account, because the last one I had on there, we were kind of getting a little bit explicitive with our language, right? So try, I gotta keep my cool, when it comes to my language, man. I know kids be watching that stuff. But yeah, the Vikings had like a 61-yard field goal. That pissed me off though, man. Because you want to know why? The record. Actually, what's the longest field goal ever made in the NFL? Let me see. Longest field goal. 66 yards. I think that was against us too. I think it was. No. Oh, no. Okay. It wasn't. Thank God. Yeah, but it was actually against the Eagles, and I believe it was like 57, 61-yard field goal. I know it was years ago. It was probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they broke the record for the longest field goal against us to kick the field goal in the game. And guess what? Of course, it was the freaking Eagles, right? But here's the thing, right? The Vikings, even though they've had some pretty bad losses, this team is really, really complete, man. They're a dangerous team. Their defense is questionable, but they're a dangerous team, right? So let me go back to where I was going. Is Joe Burr, right? Joe Burrow, man. Cincinnati Bengals, they came out with a close one. They were ahead of the New England Patriots 22-0, and they damn near came back, right? The Bengals survived a late game scare from the Patriots. The Chiefs and the Bills also won Saturday. Who will win? Who will finish with the AFC's number 1 seed? We have a huge Bengals-Bills Monday night game matchup in Week 17. I'm telling you, we got to cover this. The Bengals have won 7 in a row now. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, Cleveland Browns, Tampa Bay, and New England as we know it. They haven't lost since Halloween. We were all talking about them. We were all worrying about them. But guess what? Joe Burr is on ice, baby. Right? He's doing his thing, man. He's rocking it. He's doing whatever he needs to make sure this team is prevailing. And it's not just Joe Burrow, man. This receiving core is looking phenomenal. I mean, he made some mistakes. I know that there was a really long interception return that they had in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was in the second half, or maybe in the second half, by Marcus Jones. That interception was crazy. Yeah, I think he jumped over Joe Burrow, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty funny to see that. And then and then Jamar Chase fumbled the ball right? I think it was Matthew Judon who made a play on the ball and fumbled and made Jamar Chase fumble, right? So, hey, man. But despite that, the Patriots, they just couldn't capitalize on the opportunities that would set for them because I think they did have the ball last. So the Bengals, I think that fumble by Jamar Chase gave them another opportunity to win the game. But obviously, that's not how it went, and they lost that game. Right, so the Patriots, more than likely, if I'm not mistaken, they're probably out of playoff contention, or they're still mathematically in, but it's probably like less than 1%. Um, but I know the Bills doesn't really affect that, but I think that entirely depends on Miami Dolphins. So I think if the Dolphins win this game, more than likely the Patriots probably aren't going to be going to the playoffs, right? Because the Jets lost and Miami. But I think because of the Jets loss, I think that still helps the New England Patriots case, right? What else? What else? The Titans fired their former GM John Robinson earlier this month. Should Coach Mike Vrabel be worried about his job if he can't get the Titans ship in their last two games versus the Cowboys and the Jaguars, right? So the Titans have looked pretty piss poor. They have not looked like the same team they did in the beginning of the season. Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is out for the season. They lost A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And they fired their GM, as it clearly just stated right there. Right, this team for the better part have just been using Derrick Henry, running him to the ground. I mean, they can't pass worth a damn. I mean, I've watched it every time I watch a Titans game, man. I don't even even see where the ball is because they just have it in their hands all the time. Malik Willis did have his first TD today, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that brother. I'm proud of that brother getting his first TD. But at the end of the day, they still lost that game, which put the Jacksonville Jaguars above the Tennessee Titans. So just imagine for the better part of the season, you're top of the division, and then you have a team like the Jaguars who weren't even predicted to win this season. But if you go back and watch my videos, I damn near said the Jaguars was going to be a better team. All right, hey, go back and watch it. I'm one of those people. I said, actually, you know what? I can show you where the stock is, man. I can show you where the stock is. I can show you where the stock is, man. I can show you where the stock is. God damn it. I can't even find it. Well, just to tell you guys, I just have a Trevor Lawrence rookie card. Okay. All right. I can't find it right now, but there it goes. That just know that. Just know I had that. I've invested into Mr. Sunshine. I've invested into Mr. Sunshine. Okay. I was gonna buy Justin Fields rookie card, but I was like, nah, bunk that. Hey, I standing hella clear away from that one. I'm not gonna hold you. But yeah, man. So the Titans, I don't know if Mike Vrabel should be worried about his job. I mean, considering that, they won their division in the past 2 years. I mean, who decided to pay Ryan Tannehill in the first place? Right? He's a veteran quarterback. Did they expect him to play better? Right? Like I said, the team is circled around Derrick Henry. They decided to pay Ryan Tannehill first before they started paying Derrick Henry. So make it make sense, man. I mean, the guy lost his job at the end of the day, so really he kind of paid for that in the long haul. But I don't think this all comes down to Mike Vrabel. I mean, unless he was the one that drafted Malik Willis, because he's clearly not the quarterback for the future. Like, let's keep it a stack here now. From what I've seen from Malik Willis, it's not enough, bro. It's not enough. You need a quarterback, not a Lamar back. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the type of player. But he is strong. He is powerful. But when it comes to him in the air, I gotta see some things, man. I gotta see some things. But this year, it was a pretty rough year for Malik Willis. At some points, he did have some good moments, right? So I don't want to completely alleviate that. But despite that, man, it just comes down to just players having to play better. And You could definitely look at this Titans losing in the end of the year, kind of like last year with the Indianapolis Colts having that huge collapse. All right, but we gotta see what Malik. Hey, this is your team now. You gotta make something. Hey, Malik Willis, you gotta make something happen, bro. In order for these people to look at you in a certain way, you know. Oh man, I kind of dropped some. God damn. I'm sorry, I gotta pick some up. Ugh. All right, my fault, y'all. But yeah, man. So that's my spill with the Titans, though. You know, they're a good team. Clearly, they're a good team. But losing AJ Brown was a hit. They should have never lost AJ Brown. But they should have never signed Ryan Tannehill. That's kind of like the focal point of this whole thing, you know, the common denominator. Right? The Lions fell against the Panthers, allowing Carolina to set franchise records for total offense and rushing yardage. Did Detroit overlook Carolina, or are the Panthers starting to put things together under interim head coach Steve Wilks? Right? I think that's a very reasonable question. I think that is a very, 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 very reasonable question. But you know what? I had DJ Moore in my lineup because I knew the Lions defense or their secondary is trash, right? Their secondary is 30th in the league. Why wouldn't I put DJ Moore in the lineup? You know, with a defense that bad, you know, I get how the Lions are playing, but you can't have that bad of a defense and expect to not, you know, to not have that bite you in the butt at some point in time, right? The Panthers know they're not a great team. But at the end of the day, if they come in, week out, you know, this is how it works, man, in the NFL. You come in, week out, and that's how you go by the schedule, by the season. It's not like, you know, with basketball, you probably take it week for week. For football, I mean, technically it's still week for week, but you're going game for game. Right? But I think, you know, with the head coaching change with the Panthers, was definitely an improvement, right? For some reason, we saw, you know, the Panthers looking a whole lot different. They had traded Christian McCaffrey, so they got some stock back for him. They traded away Robbie Anderson, but even though it seems like, you know, they found some footing. I don't particularly know the name of the guys on this team, but you know what? Let me bring up some stats on just how they did today, so you guys can get a little bit of insight. But you know what? Let me bring it up on the screen though too, because I don't want to just read it, because I think that's kind of rude. You know, I could just be saying numbers. I could just be saying random ass numbers. Daniel Jones threw for 535 yards, but we still lost the game. Nah, I know y'all would call my bullshit. All right, so which game was it? Which game? Which game was it? Which game? Hey, which? Come on now. Okay, so y'all see it right there. So passing yardage, I mean, really. Also total yards. So so they had 570 total yards on the day compared to 381. Jared Goff still had a decent enough game though too. You know, had 336 yards passing in the air compared to PJ Walker's 250. But they killed them on the ground. Look at that on the ground, 320 rushing yards. That killed them. I don't see how. Jesus Christ, man. And what's this guy's name? His first name? Foreman? Deontay Foreman ran for how many yards today? 161 yards. I wonder who else. Let me look at the stats. Let me look at the other stats. On Hubert, 12 carries for 125 yards, man. So they was getting killed today, my brother. See? You need defense, man. You need defense. You need defense. And that's why the Lions, I mean, they still have a chance to make it in there. But still, it's still a tough one. Tough one for sure. All right, let's mix this up now. The Commanders and the 49ers. That was a game that was playing a little bit in the afternoon. We already know the 49ers are the first in the NFC West. They beat the Commanders 37-20. I didn't think this game was really going to go any other way. I mean, the 49ers have one of the best defenses in the league. When was the last time a team scored over 20 against the 49ers? But still, despite that though, 49ers have been playing great on both sides of the ball. And they're very balanced when it comes to their offense now. Now that they have a young guy like Brock Purdy, they're not trying to, throw him out there too much. They're not trying to really abuse him. But at the end of the day, they're utilizing their weapons. Brandon Ayuk, I forgot number 3 that he had like a 71-yard rushing touchdown. Oh, Ray McLeod III had that touchdown, right? And then Tyler Heineke had he had gotten a 4-yard touchdown pass to Dotson, right? But then you looking at it here, and then Brock Purdy was just he was efficient from the field. I mean, same with Tyler Heineke though, but it was a little bit harder for Washington to really get their groove on offense, just because the 49ers defense is just so imposing, right? But my pick, right, is just I have the 49ers coming out of the NFC. I view them as one of, if not the dangerous team in the NFC. Right? Because of that defense, man. And just how things are rolling. I mean, we've seen what happened today with the Eagles against the Cowboys. Just imagine how that would look, against a physical 49ers offense. That's a completely different beast, man. That's a completely different game right there. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, the 49ers are definitely my pick coming out of the NFC. There's no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Let me see. Let me see if there's any other games I want to talk about. Right? I don't care about that one. Buffalo Bills slaughtered the Bears. Nothing really to talk about. Kansas City Chiefs today, they beat the Seattle Seahawks. But you know what? Let's just bring up some stats. Let's just bring up some stats for y'all, because I do want to get back to the game. I'm not going to hold you. Not gonna hold you. Not gonna hold you. All right. So as you can see, wow. And then so when it comes to total yards though too, the Seahawks actually had more total yards. Kansas City Chiefs had only 20 more passing yards, and they rushed for less yards on the ground. Kenneth Walker had 133 yards rushing on the ground, if I'm not mistaken. No, 107. Geno Smith had 16, and then D Dallas had 10. But Geno Smith played not too great, to be honest. His completion percentage 25 for 40, just decent, I guess. Let's look on the Chiefs end. Patrick Mahomes, 224 yards passing, 2 TDs in the ground, and a QBR of 106. Pacheco, the running back, had 14 carries for 58 yards. And Mahomes also had that long stretch touchdown where he was reaching at the end at the goal line, right? That probably gave Patrick Mahomes legitimately a strong case for MVP, honestly. You know what, though? I've been saying, I don't even know why people are really trying to argue this whole shebang, this whole shabill. This whole thing about anybody else being MVP. I think it's utter freaking ridiculous. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is leading in passing yards and in touchdowns. I mean, just give it to him, man. Just like stop hating, bro. Like I hate when teams really try to do something like I get what Jalen Hurts is doing, but he's not playing better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, right? So I'm gonna give in my results for the games coming up. Because I don't want to stay on too long. It is Christmas Eve, so I'm gonna kind of keep it at there, right? So let's wrap this up, right? So for tonight's games, or as far as the Raiders is concerned, let's bring that score back up. Let me see. All right, so scores. So it's still the third quarter. Score is still the same. Las Vegas Raiders are up 10-3. Steelers for sure need. I mean, both teams need this game. So you already know this game is about to be fiery. That's why I got to get back to this though, because games like this, both of these teams being 6-8, they need this, right? Steelers have 30 more. Yeah, like about 30 more total yards. Steelers Raiders 125 passing yards, Steelers 132. Steelers have 69 rushing yards compared to the Raiders 46. They're both tied for first downs, and then the Raiders have 2 turnovers compared to 1. Derek Carr it has a 50% completion percentage and 133 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Kenny Pickett is 15 for 24 with 132 passing yards, no touchdowns and 1 pick. So this is a pretty physical game, and this is probably like a really, really cold game, right? Because to my knowledge, I was told that not even told, I think, from things that were kind of put out there. I don't know why my Discord is like kind of in the mix like this, but they were saying like this kid. Oh yeah, so right here. I'm glad I found it. Right here. Pop this bad boy up. So they said today was the coldest NFL games in NFL. This was the coldest day in NFL history, right? Bills, and Bears was 10 degrees with a negative 28.5 wind chill. Saints and Brown was 7 degrees with a negative 15-degree wind chill. And Seattle and Chiefs were 17 degrees with an 8-degree wind chill. Ooh, man, I know they had frostbite like a mofo. Man. But as far as today's games, though, let's get back to that. All right. So as far as today, you know what? I'm gonna go. I gotta go with the Raiders, man. I hope the Raiders pull this through, but I also want Mike Tomlin. I don't want Mike Tomlin to have a losing record, man. So I really want Mike Tomlin to win this game. I want Mike Tomlin to win this game, but I feel like the Raiders are gonna win. So in my heart of heart, I want Mike Tomlin to win in the Steelers, but I think the Raiders are going to win this win, man. They just have the personnel to kind of, to one up them. But we'll see. Steelers can surprise us though. Tomorrow, Green Bay Packers and Miami are going to be playing. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. And I think the Packers win this one. To be honest, I feel like Packers are desperate. They really need this game. In order for them to make a late playoff push. You guys should have told me. I should have switched it. This is their chance to make a real playoff push. Right, the Dolphins, they're kind of in a good spot. If anything, they could probably just be lower in the playoff seedings. But with that loss by the Patriots, definitely put them in a whole better position. So I don't think they really have too much to worry about. But still, at the end of the day, you don't want to lose games. So they have the Miami Dolphins actually being the favorite on the money line. So if I were me, honestly, I think the Packers have kind of been hitting their stride lately, and they have one of the best passing. They have one of the best passing defenses in the league, if I'm not mistaken. So let me see. Let me check this out. Let me check this out. Okay, so yards allowed. Yeah. So when it comes to passing yards allowed per game, 185, which is second in the league. And then the Dolphins allowed, they're the 28th team in the league when it comes to passing yards, right? And then they also, and the Packers are not known for stopping the run. So we may or may not see some things with Raheem Mostert. But then the Dolphins allow 111 yards per carry. But the thing about it is, though, with the Packers, we already know with Aaron Jones, they don't just hand them the ball. They pass. He catches passes from the backfields, things of that nature. So, that in itself is pretty exciting to see, in my opinion. As far as that pertains to Aaron Jones's play, because look at his how many yards he averages per carry. Like, I think when he has the ball in his hands, he's almost like a Alvin Kamara, in my opinion. That's what I get. It's not just the dreads though, too. I'm not just saying that because of the dreads. But what else? Tomorrow though, too. Broncos and Ram. You know what? I might be popping up at this game though, too. I might be popping up out here because I am kind of like, right by the stadium. And then so the Broncos and the Rams are playing each other. And you know what? I honestly, it's hard for me to say who's going to win this game. But you know what though? I'm gonna go with the Broncos, man. For what it is, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Broncos country, let's ride, right? So there it goes. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna just keep it at that, man. I don't know what's going on with the Rams. I know that they definitely have some things to mutter up and to fix up. So here's to throw out another stat for you guys. So the Rams are the first team to miss the playoffs after a Super Bowl win since the last Buccaneers team that won a Super Bowl. So I think it was like 2003. So the 2003 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the team that had like Derek Brooks. Honestly, Derek Brooks is the only guy I know from that team because I had this jersey as a kid. But I know they for a fact that they were coached by John Gruden. And yeah, so Rams are the last team to to miss the play. They didn't have a chance to really defend their title. And given the fact that they've dug themselves so deep by giving up draft picks and signing a bunch of players, so now they don't really have room to kind of they have to revamp their line, probably figure something out with the running back position. There's a multitude of things, and then you got to think about signing contracts, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, Broncos country, let's ride. That's my decision, right? And then Tampa Bay and Arizona. I mean, I kind of really said it in the beginning. I think Tampa Bay takes this game. As much as I despise Tom Brady, as much as I despise this man, I really wish he retire and just leave and go away from my life. I'm tired. I'm sick of this man playing football. But it is what it is, though. He's here and he's still playing. But I'm so happy he has a losing season. You guys don't understand. But trust me, though, Sky, if you're still watching, trust me, I'm low-key rooting for the Arizona Cardinals, but I can't have some of the Buccaneers players have bad games because they are my fantasy team. So if they lose, let them lose like 40 to 43. I'll be good with that. I'll be good with that. Feel me? But yeah, man. So this team, we already know with the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray is gonna be out for the remainder of the season, right? So who's gonna be starting? Who's gonna be starting for the Cardinals? I think is it still gonna be Colt McCoy? If I'm not mistaken, usually they have some discussion in there. Share your thoughts on. Nobody really talked about it. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the favorites on the money line by minus 375, right? And also a minus 7.5 spread, right? With a total of over or under 40.5. Um, but yeah, man, they're still, the Buccaneers still have really good defense. They're fourth in the league when it comes to passing yards. They're 17th when it comes to rushing yards, which is not great, but it's doable. I feel like you could, and but not to mention the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did have some injuries along the way, but you know how it is. Excuses. All right. And then the last game on Monday night. Are you ready for some football? Monday night party. Y'all remember that theme song? Right? Is the Chargers and the Colts. I'm not gonna lie, the Colts, they about to get they ass whooped. All right. I think the Chargers are going to have a phenomenal day. Austin Eckler is going to do his thing. Is there really much to say about this team, especially after giving up a 33-0 lead? Come on, man, there's really nothing much to talk about in that and on that basis. But that's it. Chargers for the win. Man, I was on here for an hour and I didn't even expect to be on here for an hour, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in and tapping into Cash Sports on Christmas Eve. I do, man. I appreciate it. I do. You guys don't know how much this means to me. For you guys to tune in on the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell, that notification button. I promise you guys, this channel will be the shit one day. I'm fucking telling you. I'm sorry for the language, right? But I'm telling you, it's gonna be a platform where you guys are gonna want to come here. You guys are gonna itch yourself to come on here and talk sports, man. Because at the end of the day, this is what this means to me, man. Like it's like I wish you guys could see how excited I am when I'm watching football on Sunday. When I'm watching Red Zone, I'm cooking. I'm kicking back. I mean, food. I'm obviously having my recreational uses. Why I do it. Obviously, they're legal. But you know what, man? It's things like this, especially when playoff times comes. It brings the excitement out of me. There's something about playoff, any professional playoff, any big event, man. I get freaking thrilled when playoffs arrives, right? And it's football playoffs, man. The Super Bowl is coming, and I'm here for it, right? Are you guys? Are you? Come on now, waves, man. It's getting wavy out here, bruh. Feel me? So, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys, man. Pause. But I mean that from deep part of my soul. So like I said, stay on the lookout. Big things coming for the next year. I do want to start off the year strong, right? So stay tuned. I'm telling you, I'm not BSing you, right? Actually, you know what? Just because it's Christmas Eve, you guys can open one present. I'll be right back. All right, so check this out. Y'all see this? This is a signed pennant by me. I will be giving this away as a giveaway for Christmas. If you guys like and subscribe, no, I'm messing with you. I wouldn't sign something and then give it away. That makes no sense. But no, it's Josh Allen's pennant when the Super Bowl was in California in Inglewood last year. Or it was this year. Yeah, it was actually this year. Yeah, so when everybody came out and everybody popped out, there was a little veteran meeting, and then so Josh Allen was able to meet with the veterans, and I am a veteran, so at that time I can show proof though too. I do have a picture with him. So, but yes, I will be doing a giveaway in the near future, so that's why I say be on the lookout. So for that one guy that's in the stream right now, that one guy that's watching, hey man, you probably got like the inside scoop right now, because I'm telling you, I will be giving this away, right? I do have a picture, so you guys will have proof showing I'm with the guy. So I will be giving this away in the near future and giving this to a happy person. But there will be some, you do have to, there is a catch to being able to win giveaways. But trust and believe, there's gonna be a lot more. There's gonna be a lot more prizes because I'm feeling Santa-like. That's why I'm wearing all red today, baby. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. This is Cash Sports. Like and subscribe, and have a Merry Christmas. Right? Stay tuned. Have a good night, and Merry Christmas from me to all your families. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.